But let's, of course, start with this big story that we are tracking on Race to Power at this moment, where President Donald Trump's plan to cut federal spending faces a significant roadblock in the United States Congress. Now, Friday is, of course, the day when the U.S. government will shut down if the Congress does not pass detailed spending legislation. The Republicans and the Democrats are at loggerheads on Donald Trump's unprecedented efforts to downsize the American government. Now, Trump so far has fired about 25,000 federal employees and has vowed more layoffs. He's also dismantled consumer protection and has cut foreign aid programs authorized by the Congress. Now, the stopgap funding bill, known as continuing resolution, will be voted in the House. And although the Republicans hold a very narrow majority in the House of Representatives, where the balance is split 281 to 214, the stopgap funding bill will require support from the Democrats in the Senate. They lack 8 votes to reach the required threshold of about 60 votes to pass the spending bill. Now, Senate Republicans control about 53 seats, but then Senator Rand Paul has said that he'll vote against the continuing resolution. The Democrats, on the other hand, have offered an alternative to the Republican plan to fund the government. The Democrats' bill aims to avoid federal shutdown and to keep the government running for about 4 weeks till the time there is a final consensus on bipartisan funding package. All right, now to give us more perspective on this, we are joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who is, of course, joining us live on this broadcast. Susan, this is a big moment. It's not for the first time that we are headed towards a crisis such as this, where there could be a potential government shutdown. But how realistic, considering that Donald Trump has been trying to downsize the government? This is not an idea that the Democrats really approve of. So what are the chances that we may have a government shutdown in the United States this time around?
Yeah, the chances are very slim because, first of all, this is a continuing resolution. It's a stopgap bill, which really is temporary, just to give lawmakers more time to negotiate a more permanent bill, you know, that one big, beautiful bill that President Trump often talks about. But on the other hand, the Democrats are in a very peculiar situation. 21% approval rating on the one hand, and on the other hand, they've been very critical of Elon Musk's Doge initiative, which goes after federal workers. So if a government shutdown does happen on Friday, then about 1,900,000 federal workers are going to be furloughed. They may not get their bills, Social Security, Medicaid, all of those stuff that they've been advocating for are going to really be in jeopardy. So where do they stand right now? Do they support this, or do they become the party that causes a government shutdown that's against the federal workers? On the other hand, as you mentioned, they've put their own proposal forward. It's very unlikely that will go forward. But ultimately, the Republicans need the Democrats to get this bill passed. And so, you know, we know that J.D. Vance is on the Hill today. He's trying to see, you know, whether or not he can garner any support, at least among Republicans, where some of them have said that they don't want to support this. But nonetheless, it appears that the Democrats will have to come around, considering the fact that, you know, it'll just seem hypocritical if they don't.
Interesting. Now, so far, according to the data that has emerged, as part of these efforts to minimize government spending, it's being said that as many as about 25,000 people have been laid off from their jobs from within the American government system. You know, tell us what sort of an impact this has on the psyche of the American public, where thousands and thousands of people are being laid off from their government jobs. How is this resonating with the American public?
It's an 80-20 issue. It's one of those 80-20 issues that we often talk about. The American public supports this. It's something that President Trump campaigned on. He had no secrets about it. Elon Musk came on stage during his campaign, even in states like Pennsylvania that are purple states, and he said that he's going to start with the government efficiency, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and the American people overwhelmingly supported this. It's not so much that these are essential workers. These are people that either have not gone to the office, don't check emails, or have ultimately had not contributed the way that they should. At least this is what we know until now. How far will the American people support this? How successful will DOGE will be? Only time will tell. But right now, again, it's one of those 80-20 issues.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with those details then. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.